Right, I'm going to do a quick steps video here on the main steps for doing an if function. The steps that you need to memorize. I'm going to do 3 examples, and each example I'm going to do 3 different ways. I'm going to click on the screen using the mouse. I'm going to use keyboard shortcuts, and the last method will be just typing the if function into the edit box. So I'm going to try and cover 3 different types. The first one is just pure numbers. So if somebody's age is less than 25, then you put 4 in, otherwise 3. The next one will be if a certain thing is true, you write some text. And the last one is an if statement with a formula inside it. So on to the first one. First one is the March 14 exam, and we need to work out the daily insurance. So going back to the paper, it says if the customer's age is less than 25, the daily insurance is 4, otherwise it's 3. Very simple one. Step 1 is always make sure that you are clicked in where you want the answer to be. Step 2, click on the insert function box and then click on the if function. Step 3 is typing in the logical test. Well, that was the age, so I'm going to click on the cell reference C2, and then I'm going to type the less than symbol and type 25. It didn't ask for 25 or less, which would have been the less than and then the equal symbol. It just asked for less than 25. Once you've done that, just click on value if true. Remember, if you forget what these are, it tells you down the bottom there what each one's for. Value if true, well, all we want is to put in 4. You don't put the pound signs in, because that will turn that 4 to text. It's 1 extra work as well, extra typing, but 2, we will format that column or those cells to be currency. You don't need to type it in. In fact, it's wrong if you do. And the value if false, i.e. the logical test isn't true. So if it's true, if it's less than 25, if it's false, it's over 25, and they want us to put in 3. Check there's no red writing or errors or problems there, and if OK, click OK. And the last step is drag it down, replicate it down for the set rows below. You should then also just check, that's over 25, so they're all 3. This one here, 24, is under 25, so that's 4, so it's worked. So I'll just do that again quickly. Step 1, click where you want your answer. Step 2, click on the insert function and find the if. Step 3, do the logical test. Click on the age, and then it's less than 25. Step 4, if it's true, you do 4. If it's false, you do 3. Check everything's OK, click OK. Last step, copy it down and check that it's worked. There's another way you can do it. Once you're used to those steps, you can actually use some keyboard shortcuts. You must start by clicking where you want the answer to be. Instead of clicking that FX button, you can hold down the Shift key and the F3 key. That opens up the insert function box. Then you can click on the if. Now you can type straight in C2 less than 25. Then hit the tab key. Type in the number 4, hit the tab key again, type in the number 3. Check it's OK, hit enter, and then you want to hold down your shift key and go down to the bottom, and then it's Control and D together, and that will copy everything down. again, check it. Yeah, that's 24, under 25, and that's 4. The other way, providing you're used to doing if functions, just typing it straight in. So you type the equals symbol, because that is typed whenever you're doing functions or formulas, and then type if. It will pop up in a little list. To select the list, don't hit enter, that actually goes off the cell. Hit the tab key, and then you'll see in bold a logical test. So that was C2 less than 25. You separate them with a comma. You see the value if true is now bold. So that was 4, comma 3. This is the value in false, if false. Close the bracket and hit enter. You don't actually have to close the bracket. If you hit enter, it will close it for you, but it's a good habit to do. Now you just go back up to it, select it, and select all the way down and press Ctrl D. That's it on that example. The next example is where we have to add some text. We have to type yes or no, or display yes or no. Here they want to know the remaining stock. If it's less than or equal to the reorder value, you put yes in, otherwise you put no in. And this is the June 16 paper. So if I go back, I've completed all the other tasks up to that point. So step 1, make sure you click where you want the answer to be. Step 2, click on the insert function, choose the if function. Click in the logical test, and the logical test is the remaining stock if that is less than or equal to the reorder level. If it is, and in this case it is true because it says true, if that is the case, so you click in the value if true, we want to type yes. If it isn't the case, if it's false, we want to type no. Notice when I click somewhere else, Excel adds the speech marks for you. Check there's no red writing or any problems there, and if it's okay, close it and then copy it down. Just double click. So here I think we can see if it's okay, see if it's right. Remaining stock is greater than the reorder level, so we don't need to reorder. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to use, this time deleting it, this time I'm using the keyboard shortcut, which is Shift and F3, and I'm choosing the if function and I'm typing it in. The logical test is if the remaining stock, so that's E5, is less than or equal to F5, tab, write yes, press tab, write no, and then enter. Go down, hold down the shift key and the down arrow and press Ctrl and D. The last way, or the third way that we can do it, is just to type it all the way in. I'm just going to delete it, start again. So step 1, click in the box you want the answer to be in. Now you're just typing it directly in, so you hit the equals, or you type the equal sign and then type IF. It will come, if will pop up in a little box, a little list. It's on the one we want if, so you hit the tab key. It's really important that you hit that and not enter. The logical test is now bold, so we type, it was E5 less than or equal to F5, comma, and now the value if true was yes. When you're typing it in, you have to add the speech marks. It doesn't do it for you. Comma, speech marks, capital N, O, speech marks, close the bracket and hit enter. Go up, select with your select key and your down arrows and press Ctrl D for copy down. So we've looked at an if function with just numbers in here, and this one an if function with text in there, an if function with just a cell reference was greater than a number that you typed in, and this one where you've got a cell reference is greater than or equal to another cell reference. And this third example where we're going to do a mixture of numbers, text and a formula inside the if statement. The actual question's pretty hard. This is why it's really important to learn the steps that are the same in every exam for things like if function, VLOOKUP function, so you can just concentrate in the exam on trying to work the questions out. This particular question, this is in November 2010, it wants you to do an if statement, but it doesn't tell you that anywhere. It doesn't even hint at it. Normally I would say if there's a sentence above that says if the age is less than 25 then such and such, that gives you a big clue it's an if function. There is no clue in this particular one at all. The only sort of hint we've got really is this high and low. There's no terminology, there's no line in there saying anything. If you say to yourself in your head, if it's high then it's 14 pence per hour, the electricity cost, otherwise it's low and it's 9 pence per hour. So you have to sort of say it in your head, and then you'll say it as a if statement, and then you can go in and answer it. Pretty tricky. Here is the spreadsheet. There's average hours office equipment and the average hours of electricity or hours it's on a day. So printers on 8 hours a day, 22 days a month. So the average hours over a month is 176. The rating for a printer is low, therefore they're only charged 9 pence per hour. So in here we basically want to say an if statement saying if it's low then times that value by that value, 9 pence. Otherwise it's high, and then you want to time that value by that value. So let's do that. First of all, click where you want your answer to be, and then click on the FX button and select the if function. The logical test, so this time the logical test is if E2 equals, so not greater than or less than, straight equals, and we can say high or low, it doesn't matter which one we say because it's a flip a coin, one or the other. I'm going to put in low so it stays true on this line. As we're putting in text, I can't just say low, I need to put it in speech marks. Now when you put some text in the value if true or false, it will add the speech marks for you, but if it's part of a logical test it doesn't. Now I'm not 100% sure whether you can write it in lowercase and it will find it or not. I just need to refresh my memory and try that out. Seeing as it is in uppercase in the cell, I would write uppercase in the logical test. So if E2 equals low, then click in the value if true. So what we want now is the D2 times, now we could write in 0.09, and then if I go down to this value of force, it would be D2 times 0.14, and that would be fine, you will get the marks. But in real life practice it's bad practice. This is what's called hard coding. So if those values change, you would have to go in, the user would have to go in and change these values. Now they might not know how to use it, they might be just looking through for data, they might not know how to do if statements. So it's a lot better to actually put those values in a cell somewhere, and then if the person that's using the spreadsheet wants to change them, all they have to do is click in that cell and changed it, and the formula or function will automatically update. So this one there, notice because I've got the star, it thinks it's text and it's put speech marks around it, so I'll delete these. So what we want to do in this example, we want to write D2 times, if it's low, it's true, it's that one, which is J2. If it's false, it's D2 times J3. That now gives me a hint that the top one happens to be in the row J2, the second one isn't. These two here, they're absolute cells, i.e. when I copy it down, I don't want that number to go to J3, J4, J5, J6, whereas I don't want this number D2 to go D3, because as I drag this down in a minute, that will go down all the way down to D10, but I want it to say D10 times J2 and times J3, so in which case I lock it, hit F4, click in the next one and hit F4. If you watch my videos on actually doing the if function for the various exams, it explains all this in more detail. This video though is just the quick points, the steps you need to commit to memory. Once you're happy with that, check there's no red writing or errors and click OK, and then copy it down. And you can, if you're not 100% sure, open up the calculator on the PC and just do a quick maths yourself to check that it's working. Right, so I'll just go through that again with the keyboard shortcuts. Which Shift and F3, and then tab down to the if, select the if, hit enter. The logical test was E2 equals speech marks uppercase LOW speech marks tab, and it was D2 times J2, hit F4 to lock it. This is an absolute cell, tab, and it's D2 times J3 and lock it, and then hit enter. And copy it down with the shift key and the down arrow and press Control and D. Now the same if example, but this time we're just typing it directly into the cell. So hit equals and type if pops up, so you hit tab to select it. The logical test is E2. You see a blue box comes around it, so it's easy to confirm it. Or you don't have to type it, you can use your arrow keys. You always start where your cursor is, where you're actually typing. So I want to do one left arrow will take me there. You see I can move all the way around with my arrow keys. And then you can carry on typing. So I want to do equals speech marks uppercase LOW speech marks comma, and then it's again D2. You can type or you can use your left arrow key twice, and you see it's a different colour, it's shaded red. Carry on typing times. Now I want to go to my right, so I'm going to use my right arrow. I could type J3, but so you don't make mistakes, so you don't do a typo or actually misread which one it is, look at the wrong one and think you're one line down or something. Use this method, use the arrow keys, so you can see 100% that you're on the right cell. Remember, this cell needs to be locked because it's absolute, so press F4, and that's if value if true, so comma. Now we want to go do it again, we want to go left arrow till we get to D2, times right arrow, come down a row till we get to J3. Lock it, F4, and close the brackets and hit enter. Go up, hold down your shift key and your down arrow until you get to the bottom, and then Control and D together to copy it down. So in the exam, I would, if you've got time, I would check that it's okay with a calculator. If you go down to the bottom one and then click into the edit box, you should see you're all on the same row, which is row 10. It's D2 and E2, or sorry, D10 and E10. But the lock cells are still all the way up in the top here, J2 and J3. Hit escape to come out of that. Check it in the middle. So it's all, the lock cells are all working, it's all correct. So provided you've got the logic right, i.e. times that value, that times that, it's all going to work fine. Right, so there's 3 examples of the different types of ifs. You've got text, you've got numbers, and you've got maths inside the if statement. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. If you want more detailed explanation on doing the if function or anything else to do with Excel, have a look at my videos on completing the practice exams.